What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we have a ton of things to talk about, as of course in the last video I asked you guys to leave things that you really want this game to actually include, and I mentioned the ones that get the most thumbs up will of course be featured in the next video, which is actually this one. But on top of that, we have some very interesting news to sort of kick this video off with, and that is about Marvel games in general. Now, Crystal Dynamics studio head Scott Amos actually spoke to a company called GI.biz about the origins of the project, and in a nutshell, I guess just working with Marvel on it. Now, what's really interesting and important about this is, of course, Marvel worked very close with Insomniac Games to make Spider-Man PS4, and that game came out absolutely amazing. So, in a nutshell, what I'm really trying to say is, if you're making a Marvel game, or, you know, essentially where Marvel were the origins, if you're working very close with them, it is definitely safe to say the game is going to be a must-have. So, in an interview with this company called GI.biz, he explained that Marvel basically opened a dialogue with Crystal about what kind of Avengers game they wanted to make, and the idea from the start, it seems, was to be an Avengers game, but an original take on the Avengers, so it doesn't basically feature, you know, the likeliness of MCU actors, etc. So, quote by quote, this is what Scott said. Marvel showed up and said, "What do you want to do?" Amos explained. That's how it started. They really looked at us and said, "Crystal, you guys are experts at making games, we are experts at the Avengers, so basically, what do you want to do? What's the original take you want to do on visuals and the story?" Now, we continue to say they're just not collaborators, they are partners. They basically embedded us with a team, and we talk to them daily, we send them everything we're working on, we have builds they play and give feedback on, we bring them into the studio and go through it together. Now, Bill Roseman, who again I mentioned in a previous video, is been at Marvel games for like 25 years or something like that, and he knows everybody. So that's what Scott said when he got involved. We are like, so we have a character, this is the storyline, etc, etc, and then Bill Roseman was like, I can get you a writer, let's see what this person thinks, etc, etc. And in a nutshell, because they have this amazing collaboration with Marvel going on, just like Insomniac did with Marvel, it is safe to say that if you have doubts on this game, it's time to leave those aside, because this is definitely going to have, you know, be a must-have game. Now, I really wanted to just let you guys know that situation, because the amount of comments that I see, a lot of people are super hyped up for this game, but then you just see ridiculous comments like, well, this is going to be a crappy little, you know, sellout type of game, microtransactions, you know, people go off the rails and that stuff. So that sucks to see, but you have to imagine, if Marvel games worked with Insomniac on a game like they are with Crystal Dynamics, where there's going to be continuous content in the game and everything, just think how easy it's going to be for them to implement new suits into the game, the monthly updates, you know, wherever they're going to take the Avengers as a whole, you know, where Marvel go in their path, you know, essentially Crystal Dynamics can go. So at the same time, it's going to kind of be like a never-ending game where there's going to be continuous updates, and now it does all make sense. So if you're one of those people, it's now time to put those thoughts aside, because now that has just reassured me that this is going to be incredible. Now, diving into the comments, of course I asked you guys again that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, leave things that you really want to see in this game. So the first one does come from a guy who goes by the name Jeff, and he says, I really hope they have a solid photo mode like in Spider-Man PS4. Now, photo mode nowadays, especially in open world games, is kind of like a standard. It's super important, I feel, at least for me to have anyway, because when you see things like sharing images, just showing a game's beauty as a whole, photo mode at that moment just becomes a must-have. Like, you have to have it. Again, we've got people working on this game from like God of War, etc. So there's games, well, people working on this game that have worked on games that include features like this. So I would say take it as, you know, it's more than likely going to be in the game. If it wasn't in the game, it'd be a big, you know, sort of opportunity missed. Even though it's nothing drastic, it makes a difference. Now, the next one was from Gilfish, and he listed 4 different things. So we have compelling story, good combat and traversal, long-lasting game, brackets keep me interested for a long time, advanced gear system, and upgrades. So with the compelling story, we already know that's going to be in there. With the good combat and it being traversal, we haven't seen too much. It's safe to say that, you know, the little gameplay snippets we saw from the E3 trailer that were literally like maybe 5 or so seconds each, The one we saw the most was probably with Captain America with his shield, when he sort of threw that and it came right back around him, when he sort of picked up the guy, slammed him down to the ground. If that was in-game footage, right, no sort of cinematics involved in that, then the gameplay does look very, very good when it comes down to combat. And it kind of reminds me of like the Batman Arkham series, well, Arkham Knight to be specific, on how they're kind of rolling. In this sort of predicament, I guess Captain America sort of looked a lot heavier, and with him picking up the dude and then smashing him down to the ground just felt heavier. Even though I'm not playing the game, you can kind of get that sense that that's the path they're taking. And we know that all the characters are going to be different, and you're actually gonna, feel different with each character. So maybe when it does come down to Captain America, he's more bulky with the gear he's got on, etc, etc. And when it comes down to taking down enemies, yes, he will feel heavier, but have sort of harder and, stronger takedowns as opposed to all the other characters. Excluding Hulk, of course, because that is a character that we're going to be talking about in a second, because right now he seems to be the most polished as well. Now, next one we have from Cal4K, and he says, I want MCU skins and multiplayer PvP, kind of like heroes vs villains in Battlefront 2. So, more MCU skins and the whole multiplayer PvP thing, yes, that is a big sort of topic. MCU skins being added, not gonna lie, it's more than likely gonna happen. Again, if you're gonna keep a game, like Gilfish mentioned, with, a game that's gonna be interesting, and of course, when it comes down to the advanced gear system and upgrades as well, these are all gonna take a toll in their customization sort of sector of the thing. So, when you talk about MCU suits and stuff like that, you gotta imagine if they're pumping the game with new content hopefully every month or maybe seasonally, I guess, then it's safe to say that yes, things like this are going to be added. There's going to be a ton of them. Hopefully we get to see characters, of course, like everyone wants to see, which is Spider-Man. But I also forgot to mention about the advanced gear system and upgrades. We know that there is a very in-depth sort of skill tree, if you will, that we haven't yet seen, but hopefully they will show off more. So those 2 points, more than likely, in sort of action. So let's just hope for that. Now, the next one was from Z.B, which says, I want to crossplay with other consoles. Considering it's going to be, of course, on Stadia, your Xbox One or Xbox whatever it's called, and then your, of course, PS4 and PS5, I definitely think you're going to be able to crossplay. More than likely. They know that at this stage they're developing on the current gen, so you got your PlayStation 4, your Xbox One, but they need to kind of prep for the future of, next generation consoles. So whether or not, those get officially announced, next year, etc., you have to kind of prep for that. They know that their sort of bread and butter is going to be with the current generation consoles, but they did mention in an interview, I can't remember which one exactly, but that they are looking to, of course, implement the game when it comes down to the new generation console, so the next PlayStation, the next Xbox, to then sort of make it compatible for people in the current gen, and to kind of have like a smooth transition from your PS4 to your PS5, for example. So crossplay seems more than likely, but again, nothing is confirmed as of yet. Now, one comment that I saw, and again I just mentioned about Hulk, I saw a comment that says, I'm hoping the Hulk transformation and gameplay look awesome. Now, you know how we all wanted with Spider-Man PS4, you can play as Peter Parker, go into like an alleyway, switch into Spider-Man, and then you sort of web swing out. I think if, again, going off this trailer, right, whether or not you can play, as Hulk in sort of like NPC mode or not, it would be very, very interesting. It'd be such a great feature in certain aspects where you have to be the NPC sort of version, and then bang, you just switch into Hulk, jump off something, whatever it may be. If they have that feature in the game, I'm telling you right now, it will easily become one of the best sort of gameplay experiences as far as with a superhero game goes. Now, the second to last one was from Jerry, and he says, I can't wait to play as Captain 4. Captain America, Captain 4, and then, of course, 4, and I am praying that T'Challa and Strange is, of course, in it. We've seen a lot of comments on people that are not featured in the trailer, that are sort of questionable on, why they're not there and all that. Of course, we've seen a few of them. What I really want, and I know a lot of people want, is Daredevil in the game. I think that would be such a big thing. Again, going on their sort of monthly add-ons in the game, I don't know how they're exactly going to work on that, but if Daredevil is in the game, it would be very, very cool. Maybe like a thing where it's like, mystery, new characters added every single month or every other month. That would be great. Now, moving on to the last one, it does come from Pro Gamer, and he says, top 5 things that I want to see. Again, we got MCU costumes to be able to change into some point in the game. A post-credit scene after the game is over. Not gonna lie, that'd be really interesting. An open world game. Again, we know there's gonna be multiple worlds, so not just one big open world, but loads of like little mini open world maps. Again, I don't know if they're all gonna be similar sized or some are gonna be like huge and then all the others are like mini. Again, we've only seen so much. A Stan Lee cameo, of course, I feel like this is more than likely gonna be in the game. It just has to be, more than likely. And then lastly, local co-op or couch co-op. So literally your friends come over, hey, let's jump on, play a bit of 2-player on the Avengers game. I can see that happening as well. But I want you guys to get in the comment section below and let me know what you think of these. And that is going to wrap up this video. So what do you think of Marvel working close with Crystal Dynamics? And what do you think about the ideas? But guys, as always, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe for more awesome content. And I will see you in the next one. But till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day. And adios amigos.